Hi guys, welcome to today on FinStack. Today I want to talk about Black RMB. So if you've been hearing of Black RMB, this video is going to explain everything you have to know about Black RMB. Now, first of all, what is RMB? If you're coming across this term for the first time, RMB is the currency used in China to pay Chinese suppliers for items like iPhones, like clothes. Most of the things we consume here in Africa comes from China. So this is the currency the Chinese use. It's also called Chinese yuan, right? So Black RMB simply means funds that comes from a compromised account. Now, an account that has been hacked, an account that someone possibly stole the password to the account and have access without the authorization of the actual owner. So that's what it means by Black RMB, because if that funds leave that account, you're simply stealing the money, and as such it is termed Black RMB. Because when the person who actually owns the account gets to know about it, they will definitely request for a reversal, right? For the platform to reverse the transaction. And it's very, very common with Chinese bank accounts or bank card. Now, Chinese bank accounts issued a card that is like Visa card or MasterCard. We call them Visa, MasterCard over here, but in China it is way different. It's not actually a Visa card, it's not a MasterCard, but it's in that format, right? So when you add this card to your Alipay and pay someone, so if it's a stolen card, maybe someone was forcefully someone's card was forcefully gotten from the person without the person's approval, and then they use this card to steal money from the person's account. So what happens is that Alipay, if they notice an unusual payment, right, they will just ask you to provide the bank accounts and the details and maybe your personal ID to validate that this money is coming from your account. And if you're unable to do that, they will freeze the account. It's very, very common when you're using bank card to pay. So, and it's the reason why people tend to run from bank card payment. But if the person is using Alipay, there are chances that the funds are always coming from the right source. It doesn't mean that Black RMB is not common with Alipay. It's common, just that it is way, way common with bank card than with Alipay. So another thing I want to talk about is who pays or accepts. Is very, very common with people who exchange currencies, like who exchange Black RMB on WhatsApp, right? So in case you want to buy RMB, you want to pay your supplier, you can go to www.usefinstack.co to make the payment. I will also be adding a WhatsApp number and also the website link in case you want to use the website. So back to what I was saying, who pays RMB or accepts Black RMB? Normally Chinese suppliers will tell you they don't accept Black RMB, and they will warn you specifically not to pay them Black RMB because there will be consequences. Their accounts will definitely be frozen, or the money will be reversed, and then they will sometimes be investigated by the police, and as such that's the reason why they run from Black RMB. But there are still some people who still dabble into this Black RMB because of the the benefit. It's a stolen funds, and because it's a stolen funds, the money is always very cheaper. So it's also one of the reasons why the Nigerians who fall victims to Black RMB, and Nigerians are with them, people who have big eye, or like sometimes we'll say awoof, who like awoof so much. For instance, now the rate of RMB in the market may be 204 naira to one RMB, let's say 204 naira to 1 RMB, and someone tells you that he has RMB for 180 naira to 1 RMB, and you see some persons who eagerly want to have it. They say, this is very cheap, I want this. They won't care if that is actually the market rate. They just want it because it is way cheaper, and those people are always the people who fall victim to this type of scammers. So one of the things you need to do is that you should always look out for prices that are too good to be true, rates that are too good to be true. If someone is telling you, I can offer you this stuff for a very, very cheap price, the least you could do is just to go to Google and check the price on Google. When you check the price on Google, at least from there you would have gotten an idea of what the market rate is. Maybe if the rate is on Google, the official rate is maybe 200 naira. Currently the official rate and the parallel market rate is not too far apart. It's almost same, like the difference may just be 4 naira, 5 naira. But let's assume the difference is almost 10 naira, 20 naira. Then you should be very, very worried. it's most likely the person is stealing the RMB. And even if it is like 6-7 naira, sometimes it's still necessary you should ask questions so you don't fall victim to these scammers. So look out for prices or rates that are too good to be true. For instance, for the people who are very notorious for going asking 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 exchangers. Now if you ask 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exchangers and someone is telling you that he can sell this stuff for you at a way lesser rate than what the previous exchangers have said, then you should be very worried. It's most likely a black RMB. And I want you to know that there are people, there are business people who intentionally request for black RMB. Those business people are mostly people who love scams, right? Here's what they do: they pay this black RMB to a Chinese supplier in hope that maybe the person will not be able to detect, the bank will not spot it, and then if it takes up to 4 or 5 days and the supplier has sent the goods out, so what happens is that they will find a way to ship the product out of China as fast as possible. In that case, the supplier is still not aware that the money is a stolen funds. So if the supplier gets to know about it maybe 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, the supplier would have lost the item and also have to go through series of police investigation. So you see, there are people who have who are short-term thinkers, right? They want to make money at all costs, and they don't care about building long-term business relationship. But I want to say this: if you're a business person, you should always strive to build long-term business relationship. Your goal is not to like try to scam people to make quick buck, to make quick money that will just enable you, make extra gain or maybe stay ahead of others at the expense of long-term business relationship. Don't always do that. It's better to always make little profit, and you know that your business partners have trust in you, right? For instance, we have business partners that handles thousands of dollars worth of transactions for us. They buy items, ship those items for business people. If we call them to do that, right, simply because they have worked with us for a very long time. So when you're in business, you should always try to build long-term business relationship. Scammers do not think about long-term, they just think about short-term. They want the short-term gain, and that's the reason why scammers are always spearheading get rich quick schemes, right? And you have a lot of people who are very eager to make money at all costs, and they fall victim to this get rich quick scheme. But in business, it's not about get rich quick scheme. You want to build a business that you know that in the next 4 or 5 years the business is still going, and maybe at some point you even have to employ people. Maybe you even hand over the business to your children if the business becomes extremely successful. So as a business person, always think long term. Don't look for a way to steal from people. So another thing I want to talk about when it comes to this black RMB is practical steps. Don't accept money from bank card if you are not sure where the money is coming from. It's better to go with Alipay. It's very, very common with bank card fraud, black RMB, pig butchering scams, and all these funny scams you see on the China and African payment corridor. It's very common with Chinese bank accounts or bank card. So please stick with Alipay. If you don't know, if you're just starting out, tell the person, send me money only from Alipay. What's your Alipay name? And the person tells you, then you make payment. Tell the person, please only send me money from this Alipay. And if you're wondering how can you buy or pay your supplier on Finstack, you can do that. www.usefinstack.co. So I'm going to add the Alipay, the website address to this video so you can always search it out. So it's better to use verified platforms to make payment to your suppliers. Don't use funny platforms that you don't know. Some persons have been doing WhatsApp and it has been working for a very long time, but you know what, sometimes some things may go wrong. So it's better to use verified platforms like Finstack, which I have made mention of. I think I have some things I listed here. I also want to highlight now, most times some people will not be able to pay you from their bank, from an account that bears same name as theirs. It's very much possible, but if you can, always request from for payment from an account that bears the same name as a person you're paying. For instance, the person who is paying you or sending the money, if maybe it's not on a verified platform, you're doing all this WhatsApp transaction deals, one of the things you need to look out for, maybe what's the person's name. Maybe you send, the person's name is James John, and then the payment you made in naira is to an account that bears James John. If the person is sending you money from an Alipay that bears James John, most likely the person is paying you from his own account. But when it's now a third party account, that's where a problem comes from. So these are some of the things you need to look out for. If you're new into importation, it may be very difficult to spot out this. Now I must say this, there are people who use these third party accounts to pay, and still they don't engage in fraud. So I want to balance the equation, and that's why I said it's very difficult to know who is the right person to deal with when you're new. So the old guys, or the people in business for a long time, who have been in business for a very long time, maybe 5-10 years, they already know the people to work with. But if you're new into importation, it may be very difficult for you to spot out the right guys and the wrong guys. So I hope this can help. I think I want to talk about some other thing. If I have nothing here on my list, I'm going to do a recap of what I've said so far. So what I've said so far is Black RMB. You know, I remember watching a video of a guy who was of a lady who was complaining bitterly. She lost about 2 million naira to Black RMB scam. So she paid the person sent the money was frozen. So at the moment the money was frozen, the person could not retrieve the money anymore. The supplier asks her to pay the money again. If she doesn't pay, the supplier is not going to ship the item. You see, that's how risky Black RMB could be. And I hope you take precaution before making payment using account you're not too sure of. But if it's someone you have been working with for a very long time, maybe payments providers, is fine, you can still continue. But if you're not too sure, you can use Finstack to make those payments. So that will be all for now. Till we meet again in the next video. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful day.